Hey folks, welcome to the Mike Lopez TV Show. I'm your host, ACMike. We'll bring you all things Atlantic City and our local region. Politics, sports, dining, entertainment, and so much more. On tonight's show, our first guests are David Pena, president of Pena Productions, as well as the creator and owner of Boogie Nights, and vice president Valerio. After that, we'll have Mr. Rod Millwood, CEO and co-founder of the Laff House Comedy Club, Atlantic City, and Ashanti Adderly, president of operations of the Laff House. So stick around. We'll be right back. Hey folks, welcome back to the show. Our next guests are David Pena, president of Pena Productions and creator and owner of Boogie Nights, and vice president Valerio. Folks, welcome to the ACMike Show here at Stockton University.
Great to be on. Thanks for having us, Mike.
Thank you so much, Mike.
Listen, before we get in, we've known each other very well from the radio show, from where we live in Atlantic City, the 401. But let the folks at home get to know you a little bit. Ladies first, Val.
So I've been with Boogie Nights since we opened at Tropicana. I have an interesting perspective. I worked as a server to start, and then the host and supervisor. So I really got to see it in all different levels of operations, which I'm very appreciative of. It's the only club I would ever work for.
There you go. That's good stuff. Mr. Pena?
Pena Productions and Boogie Nights. Pena Productions started in 2007 as a production company, really to support Boogie Nights. Boogie Nights was my creation. We started at resorts in 2007. We moved over to Tropicana, Atlantic City in 2012. Since then, we've opened up Boogie Nights around the country in several different locations: St. Louis, Biloxi, Mississippi, Lake Tahoe, all around the country. And right now we're currently in Atlantic City, which is our mothership at Tropicana Casino, and also Indiana. We have a Boogie Nights at Hollywood Casino. And Boogie Nights, for those that don't know, is the ultimate 70s and 80s, 90s dance club. It's really a glimpse into the world that, let's imagine Studio 54 meets Disneyland. It's great because Valerie and I working together, we constantly, trying to, improve the brand, expand the brand to more than just a nightclub and give the customers a great experience. So every Thursday and Friday, Saturday night, we're open here in Atlantic City. And it's amazing how the brand and the company has grown and the club has grown. And at the same time, our fan base, as well as our crew, our characters, which separates Boogie Nights really from a lot of the other clubs, because we have characters like Roller Girl, Mirror Man, MCs. It's a very interactive experience where that separates us from most nightclubs. And we have theme nights and theme parties, and there's constantly something new and different that when people go to BoogieNightsUSA.com, they could take a look at the menu and see all the exciting events. And we basically create these things on a weekly basis and see what works. And the thing is, we're not afraid to experiment and try things. It's the nightlife world. It's not rocket science. It really should be fun. And it should convey to people a good time. And I think that's what's the joy of being in this business is. Pena Productions is a full-service production company. We do everything from, marketing, promotions, concept creation. The whole idea is being in the entertainment field is always something I wanted to do when I was younger. And in working with Valerie and having her as vice president, it's perfect because we both, can sort of divide and conquer, if you will. We have our strengths and we know what they are, and we complement each other when we're working, and then we also spill that over to create a team. That's one of the most important things in entertainment, I think, especially in the Atlantic City market, is to reel in a really good team, keep them tight, and nurture it, and never take it for granted, and always try to develop new things. And I think that comes across.
Mm-hmm. And it does say a lot when you talk team, because that's the way it works pretty much anywhere in life. Not that everybody accepts and joins in.
Right.
Valerie, working with this madman. So through all these years, and it says a lot, again, about the two of you, because you've been together for 10 years, and a lot of your characters, too, as well, Valerie and Dave. And I'll go to Valerie on this. have stayed with you for some time, whether it was DJs and Roller Girl and whatnot. You know, I don't want to put any names out there or anything like that, but that says a lot about what you do, because the nightclub industry could be kind of crazy at times, right? And it's supposed to be fun. I always tell the story, when I first started, I retired from the Atlantic County Justice Facility, fancy name for the jail, went to work for security over at Tropicana, and I happened to be working in Boogie Nights one night, and I see this guy all over the bar. He's climbing it. Yo, bro, you got to come down from there. Come on, you can have a good time. Hey, man, do you know? And it wasn't being consenting or anything. Do you know, I'm the owner here, man. I was like, oh, this is just a place I want to work. This is great. And it was Dave. And my point being that you're there having a good time, but also with Val, the creativity. I mean, you're not reinventing the wheel, but you do have to stay in the trend where people want to come and see something new. Talk to some of us about some of our listeners and our viewers about that, the creativity and throwing stuff on the wall and how it gets picked out.
Well, I think that that's the most fun thing is, you know, this creative backbone that, you know, Dave's like, you know, we're missing Atomic Dog and Disco Kitty. Of course we are. I can't believe we didn't know that. And now we can't live without them at the club. So just trying very obscure things that out of the box thinking that creates an experience. And every time someone comes to Boogie Nights, it's going to be something familiar, the brand itself, but it's going to be something shocking that they would never see anywhere else.
And the venue, Tropicana, and where you're located at too as well. One of the great spots, I think, and not just the clubs in Atlantic City, no matter where you go on the East Coast in the country, it's just positioned in the perfect place. You're hidden, tucked off to the side a little bit, plenty of space, different levels. Some of the characters, David, talk to us some of the characters. Val touched on it, and the concepts where they come. I mean, you go in one night, you got Prince running around, you got Michael.
Well,
I don't want to, but go ahead.
We actually, one of the things we're known for is having great impersonators.
Right.
And I think that's one of the things that customers, you know, come to expect. I mean, when you go into Boogie Nights, customers can expect a light-up dance floor, the largest disco ball you've ever seen, a DJ that's on fire, and that DJ is kind of the quarterback that will instruct everybody. The lighting and sound is fantastic. The performers are interactive with everybody. The bartenders, the servers, security. Everybody makes eye contact and gives you a great experience. And I think that's the most important thing. And also you touched on the location. When we first scouted out that location, I don't know if anybody knows, but it was a giant dome which was called it was for penny slots. And it also was like where you catch cash in this big dome or whatever. And I looked at the room and I go, that's it. And it had a lot of obstacles, but we put a lot of effort and thought into building this room, almost like a playground. If you go into Boogie Nights, there's separate VIP sections, the Love Shack, the awesome 80s suite, the Miami suite, the Lava Lounge. We try to make it where it's paint by numbers. So it makes it very easy for a customer when they go onto our website or see Boogie Nights, they see the name, they know what they're going to expect. And then the room delivers, it really does deliver. And finding the name and the location in any sort of operation or business is key. Those are the first steps. And then applying the operations and how you're going to execute these things. And more importantly, how you're going to get people in the door and market it. And that's what we work together on all the time, is trying to figure out, okay, what do people want? And we can gauge, like, okay, and we're not afraid to fail. We're afraid, we try everything and anything, because most of the time it works out to our advantage, because the customer, the best part is sitting in the back of a nightclub or on the balcony that we have, watching celebrities show up at the club, people dancing, people taking pictures, and I love watching it on social media like on a Sunday after they had a great weekend, and that's really what it's about. As a matter of fact, I was there the other night, and I almost cried. It was so good.
Right. And that's where I was going to jump into, David. I'm glad you said that. See, with Val, we're going to talk about some of the concepts, but also the fact that it's just a getaway. I mean, when you go to Boogie Nights, and listen, folks, I recommend that you go. It's everyone from 21 to 60. To 70. I mean, touch on that a little bit, because there's something for everyone. And then the music. Listen, like you said, the DJ, the music, the 70s, 80s, 90s, pumping.
I mean, that's really how discos got started, right? This
Right.
all-inclusive place where everyone could come and feel comfortable, and that is definitely what's Boogie Nights, and that's what I loved since the first day I started at Boogie, is that you get this feeling like you can just go in and be yourself and have fun and dance, and like you're going to be promoted to do it. People are going to encourage you to come on the dance floor and just let loose and have fun.
Love it.
Yeah.
So, and Dave, yeah, I mean, you're there, like I said a few minutes ago, hanging out, doing your thing. You're working, but also having a good time interacting with the audience and the crowd, people dancing. Again, I can never say one time that I've ever went, not had a good time.
That's great. I'm glad you said that.
And it just is. It's that vibe. You know, it gets a little crowded, which is good, right, for business. And that's the beauty of it. I mean, people are having a great time dancing wherever they're. Yeah. The little breakout spots. You have bars in the back. You have bars out front. Talk to us about that a little bit.
Yeah, it's really strategically placed,
Right.
so people can understand what booth they're going to get, and they have like a certain. Each section has its own cachet. And what I've noticed about the customers is when you talked about the age groups, and there's a lot of. I see, somebody bringing their kid to celebrate their 21st birthday. Right. When we first started out, to be quite honest with you, is a lot of soccer moms, to tell you the truth, that was our base customers. Right. And they still are. I love them. And that's now awesome. It's their kids too. Yeah. And it's my kid, and to see the generations accepting it. As a matter of fact, when you walk through the crowd, I don't know who's working for us or not, because everybody's dressed up,
Yes,
Absolutely. So that allows for Boogie Nights to become like a sort of cult type thing where people dress up and they get involved. The more the customers are involved, the better. And it allows us to expand the Boogie Nights brand. And Val and I, we also do Boogie Nights pop-up tours, which Boogie Nights we take on the road for maybe a weekend to certain locations. Right. We've done that. But what we're looking to do is expand the brand and also find a residency and home, like maybe on the West Coast, Las Vegas. We've spent so many years in Atlantic City, and we love it. This is our anchor. This is our mothership. Anybody says, what's your favorite place? Atlantic City, period. Hands down. It's been extremely good to us. It's been good to the brand, and we'll never forget that. That's our loyal customer base, as well as our crew in Indiana. We've been there since 2010. They love it. They're loyal. And if you have that type of loyalty, it gives you the drive to get up and do it and produce. And that's the driving force behind Pena Productions and us getting up every week and going, okay, how can we do something better and do something different? Outside of Boogie Nights, we also produce events. We whether it's shows, and we have a show called Primal Men that we're producing. We keep our hands in everything, but Boogie Nights is the brand that sort of everybody knows, and luckily everybody talks about. I overhear people sometimes at restaurants, and I love it.
We got about 2 minutes, folks, and I just want to give it to you. I want to say, again, I love the fact that both of you come out. You're part of it. I love the both of you. I've been a pain in the butt for many, many years. Hey, I'm coming over or whatever. Val would be like, come on in, Mike. And listen, it's such a good time. The lines sometimes are off the hook, but they move quick. And like you said, when you walk through a line at Boogie Nights, you see everyone dressed up. It is the anticipation of getting in there. I'm going to leave the last little bit for you. Val, you first. Tell them or me or whatever it is that you have to say. Last words.
I mean, we're so excited to keep the brand going. We're going to get bigger and better, and hopefully we're going to be popping up in cities all around. And just watch where we go.
There you go, Mr. Pena. You got a minute?
That's absolutely true. We want to thank everybody who's come to Boogie Nights, and we encourage everybody to check it out. We're getting bigger, better. We have more things planned. We have a lot of celebrities that always show up spontaneously. We've had anything from Casey and the Sunshine Band, Tiffany, Rob Bass performing. We have it. This year we have a big lineup that's secret right now, but it'll be announced very soon, and we hope that everybody comes out to the club and enjoys it, and we're extremely appreciative, and thank you very much for having us on your show, Mike.
Love it. Listen, we appreciate the both of you coming out tonight. We'll be continuing this interview down the road. Thanks again to David Pena, president of Pena Productions, and Valerie Feo, vice president of Pena Productions, for being on tonight's show. Stay tuned. We'll be right back. Welcome back to the show. Our next guests are Mr. Rod Millwood, CEO and co-founder of the Laff House Comedy Club, Roche, and Ashanti Adderly, president of operations for the Laff House. Welcome to the show, folks.
Thank you.
So I appreciate you being here. Listen, we don't have a lot of time, so I'm going to get right into this. And you heard me say it many times. Rod, do me a favor. Tell me the inspiration for the Laff House, where it's got its inception, and the passion that you have for it.
It came from my wife. She wasn't my wife then, but that's where it came from. Her believing in me and invited me down to come look at it and try to take it over and run it and make it into what it is today. And even what we're doing in Atlantic City, I only did it because when she was dying, she made me promise to reopen the club. You understand? So,
and for how many years were you guys in Philly performing, having others perform as well?
about 30 years. Wow. Yeah, a long time.
Well, you've seen it all. We're going to get to some of the folks that were on your stage. Yeah. Shante, tell us your function and capacity with the Laff House and how it all came together.
Let's see, I've been dealing with the Laff House for the last 8 years. It's been a lot of ups and downs, but it's been a wonderful roller coaster. And it's going to absolutely be amazing going forward into the next evolution for the Laff House.
Listen, and love the fact that you're here in Atlantic City, but I'm going to stay in Philly for a minute. You know, with some of the comedians that donned your stage, you know, we've talked about it off the air as well, and let's tell the audience at home some of the folks that, you know, you had and you worked with and where they are today.
Yeah, everybody knows Bill Burr. Bill Burr's first comedy CD was recorded and done at the Laff House, and when I finished it, I just handed it to him and said, here you go. As a matter of fact, we drove it up to New York to give it to him. So that's where it all started. And then Kevin Hart, you know, Mike Blackson, Dion Cole, Mike Epps, Lisa Lampanelli, you name them, I have rubbed elbows with all of them and put my 2 cents in just to get them.
Crochet will be up there soon too, huh?
Just to let them understand what's expected of them. Because the Laff House had a standard we follow for all comedians. We didn't care who you are. You know, as long as you're funny, we'll put you on the stage. And that audience in there was rough sometimes. You know, they didn't play. If they didn't like it, they let you know. They're not going to holler and scream. They just be quiet. And the worst thing to a comedian is tell a joke and hear crickets.
Silence, right?
Oh my gosh.
That was the same thing for me growing up in the house with my father when he was quiet. But no, I get it's a little different there. Yeah. So when reading, I believe it was Kevin Hart's book, you know, he mentions the Laff House, you know, the relationships, and if it wasn't for, you know.
That's one thing I respect about Kevin, and I love him for it. And I have footage of Kevin that nobody has seen. Because I remember when I recorded all that stuff, he says, no, Mr. Rod, hold it. It's for you and Miss Mona in the Laff House. I'm going to be famous. You got that. But every time he does a show, a biopic, a documentary, anything involving Kevin Hart, I get a phone call from his people. Mr. Rod, we need some footage from 19 so-and-so. Can you send us some so we can pick what we want to use? Oh, Mr. Rod, we need this, Mr. Rod. So I get a phone call every 2 to 3 months.
And some of the others that have donned the stage there as well, do they continue to come back, or is it some of them go their way, and it's the way life is at times?
Yeah, they do come back, especially when they hear, and I've been getting phone calls from people about the Atlantic City, and everybody wants to know when, and when can I get on stage? Messages popping up, when can I get on stage? Some of them have my direct phone number, so it's always a phone call. Mr. Rod, you ready to go? I said, no, we still working on some stuff. Okay, I'm here whenever you're ready. I even got scheduled from people like Gary Owens. That's another one that he tells me what his schedule is all the way up until September, so where I can get him to perform. So these are the things that happen constantly.
It's something that's just a regular day, you know, in the Laff House. And Ashanti, with your capacity with the Laff House, are you dealing with some of the comedians as well, or more of the events and keeping everything structured in the so-called world behind the scenes? Because that's an important place as well.
I am this guy's right here, Mr. Rod. I'm his piece. So I pick up all the pieces that he doesn't.
Right.
Yes.
Right. I love that. I think I'm going to put that on a bumper sticker and use that somewhere along with another hashtag that you have as well. So here we are in Stockton University, collaboration with Campcast, as we said earlier. Students, people here are searching, right? They're looking for, some know what they want to do in life. When you find a comedian, and let's talk to some of the students right now, and we're going to talk to our listening audience as well. When you're talking to a young person to get into this profession, not an easy one by any stretch of the imagination. Most of them, men and women, are working another job or doing other jobs. Talk to us about that a little bit.
I have a theory that I utilize when I meet somebody who's attempting to become a comedian. I ask them to give me three things: the beginning, the middle, and the end. Now you might say, what's that? Every story has a beginning, and it has a middle and an end. So when a comedian goes on stage, he has to realize he got to talk about his mother, his father, and his sister. Now, how are you going to tie that together? You start now with your mother, your cousin, your father, your aunt, your sister. You just created a whole web. And the mistake comedians make, they don't know how to put that formula together. Back when we were in Philly, I used to record the shows for these comedians and take it home and chop it up and bring it back to them the following week and say, do your set like this, learn it like this. So I could show them what I saw and what I hear. Because a lot of times I was never in the room, I'm listening. So when I listen, I learned that, okay, if you make me laugh by just listening, so when I come in, I'm going to have a ball. So that's how I got them to understand what I wanted them to do.
Right, so much of what we do here, put a show together, you're going to edit it, you're going to send it back to them and say, this is the way you're going to perform your show, your set on stage. Now, let me ask you this, Mr. Millwood. When some comedians, you see them doing 5, 6, 7 minutes. Some guys can go a half hour. Some, top liners, they're there for an hour, hour and a half. Where does that come from? Of course, you're not going to have a new guy. I shouldn't say, of course, because I don't know, do that sort of time. How does that time frame get set?
What I do, okay, the Laff House rule is this. If you want to headline the Laff House stage, you better have a strong hour, okay? You want a feature, you better have a strong 45 minutes. Now, the host, you get 5 minutes in the beginning, you get 5 minutes in the middle, and 5 minutes at the end. So that's 15 minutes you have. A lot of people don't know. Being a host can help your career because you're always on the stage. And a lot of them don't understand that. You need stage time to hone your craft. You're going to meet people. You're going to talk to people. The object is not to try to outdo. You got 5 minutes? Do a strong 5 minutes and leave the stage. If people ain't there to see the host, they're there to see the feature and the headliner. So your job is to hype them up, get them ready, and then pass the ball.
Be that guy. Be that guy or that woman.
That's it.
Bring it alive, the hype person, but also you're on the stage and eyes are watching, so to speak, and you don't know who's in the audience.
That's it.
But we know you're there.
Yeah. So even if somebody's late, guess what? Now we say you got to do 10 minutes.
Right.
And you ain't going, what am I? No. You say, okay, I got 10 minutes.
Love it.
And you just tell your story.
Love it. So there it is right there. So now let's transition. Let's move on down south. Here we are in Atlantic City, ACX1 Studios. You have a home there. And listen, I want to, as a resident, not only as a fan of comedians and the Laff House Philly, some of the others you have named, being able to put such a established business, entertainment, the folks that you will bring into that building, I thank you. And I'm sure thousands, if not more than that, thank you out there as well. Talk to us about that relationship with ACX1 Studios and what you're bringing there and that type of atmosphere that's going to be at the pier.
The pier is going to be a mecca because we have created shows like we have what we call Laugh Therapy Thursdays. We have the Fresh Faces of Comedy. We have Welcome to the Fellowship, which is a Christian-based comedy show. That's Sundays only we're doing that show. So that's all Christian-based comedy. You'd be surprised the market that's out there for them, but they have nowhere to go. Right. So we said, come with us. So we created the show. Then you have our regular stand-up comedy. And of course, we're going to do the open mic to give people a chance to be seen. Because once I see you on open mic, if I feel you can be a host, I'm going to pull you off that stage and say, you're going to host some shows for me. And I'm going to tell you what you have to do. So that way, and a lot of comedians don't understand, do what I ask you to do, because I'm not going to lead you down a primrose path. I'm going to have you do some things that's going to help you. Some of them, oh man, I know what I'm doing. No, stop. Just do what I ask you to do. Get on that stage, get relaxed, feel comfortable. When you get that and I see it in your face and your movements, then I can say, okay, now you need to do this.
You know, you've been there, seen, not that it's a know-it-all type thing. My father, God bless his soul, one of the things he always told us, you know, to the 8 of us, always remain teachable. Always, no matter where you're at in life, 30, 40, 50, on stage, sitting here at Stockton University, remain teachable. And it's so important because at times, I'll be honest, I do it all for a little bit until you got the bumps and bruises and you figure you see somebody else doing what you are meant to do. Again, Atlantic City, we've had our ebbs and flows, entertainment. We have a couple minutes here and we're going to be done. My point in saying this is we love our casinos. We love what they do. Employ people, bring entertainment, but also what I always loved was that pier. And what that pier brings is another facet of people, families, entertainment. And I believe that that's something that we need so much. So talk to us about the pier, where you guys and gals are going to be. Let folks know. We got about a minute, Rod.
You know, my job coming to AC is to build something for the community. You understand? My shows will not be where you only go once 3 months. My shows you can go every weekend, so the price won't be as crazy, because that's how the Laff House started. We cater to the local people. Somebody who's walking down the street and say, oh, I'll go in. So the Laff House is going to be a place that you can come in and drop your $20 or $25 and enjoy yourself. And next week I'll see you again. Yeah. That's it. Yeah.
It is perfect. I'm sorry, go ahead.
You'd be surprised how many people got hooked up at the Laff House because they came by themselves, and we put them at a table with a female, da-da-da-da-da, and some of them are married today.
Right, beautiful. So bringing them together long-term as well as for the night.
It.
Listen, you're coming off the boardwalk, folks. You're coming out to Atlantic City for a different reason. Bring yourself to the Laff House. I say this, again, there's nothing better than laughing. Other than saying thank you, but there's nothing better than laughing. It takes you away for a couple days. I want to thank you for coming on to the show. All you, Ashanti, and where's he at? Right there, I see him. Shay. Folks, listen, again, I encourage you, get on out there. I want to thank Mr. Rod Millwood, CEO, co-founder of the Laff House Comedy Club, and Ashanti Adderly, president of operations for the Laff House, is going to be the spot. Thank you for being on tonight's show. Stay tuned. We'll be right back. Hey folks, it's our belief here at the Mike Lopez TV Show that you, the viewers and our guests, bring the show to life. Thanks to each and every one of you for joining us. To learn more about AC Mike, go to acmikej.com. On Facebook, you can find me at ACMike, Mike Lopez, and LiveWorkPlayAC. On Instagram, at ACMikeNJ. If you enjoyed watching today's show, you can also listen to my radio show on 1400 WOND, 92.3 FM, WONDradio.com, Monday through Friday, noon to 2. Listen, remember to live, work, play AC, and I'll see you on the 48.